Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hello everyone, I'm Karis. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, June 2nd through Saturday, June 8th, 2024. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. The sparkling night sky brings us on Sunday, June 2nd, the moon reaching its perigee. That is, the moon to its closest point in its elliptical orbit around the Earth. Also, the morning of Sunday, June 2nd, we have the moon near Mars. Now, we have this lineup of 6 planets continuing into the early part of June. And when the lit portion of the waning crescent moon, it's going to point to the red planet Mars. Now, at the same time, Mercury is dropping down toward the horizon and Jupiter in anticipation of their upcoming conjunction. Saturn will be higher in the eastern pre-dawn sky. The moon and Mars will rise about 2 hours before sunrise. The mornings of June 2nd and 3rd, we've got the moon and Mars together. The waning crescent moon will lie close to the reddish planet Mars, and they both will rise a few hours before dawn. The mornings of June 3rd and June 4th is probably the best time to try and catch all 6 planets at once. If you start looking about 40 minutes before sunrise, you will see the waning crescent moon pointing to Mercury and Jupiter and near the sunrise point. Mercury and Jupiter would be just a day away from being closest to each other. Meanwhile, Mars, Saturn, and Neptune will be higher in the eastern pre-dawn sky. Tuesday, June 4th, we have the waning crescent moon floating above the planets low on the horizon. Mercury and Jupiter will appear closest together in the morning sky when they will be less than 1 degree apart. And that's if you can find them, because it will be the bright morning twilight. Even though the planets are shining brightly, they'll be competing with the rising sun's glow. Look in the morning twilight about 40 minutes before sunrise. Also, look for Mars and Saturn higher in the sky. And on the morning of June 4th, we have the lit portion of the waning crescent moon pointing to the close pairing of the bright planets Jupiter and Mercury. The largest and the smallest planet in our solar system will lie low on the horizon in the bright morning twilight. Binoculars will help spot them about 30 minutes before sunrise. The last chance to snag all 6 planets before sunrise is on June 5th, 2024. Mercury will be descending fast towards the horizon. Jupiter will be ascending, and the whisper-thin waning crescent moon will hover above the planetary pair. Look for them in the morning twilight about 40 minutes before sunrise. Soon Mercury will be too close to the sun to see. However, Jupiter will be moving higher out of the sunrise's glow. Mars and Saturn lie higher in the sky and are easier to spot before dawn. Sunday, June 2nd, Jupiter returns to our view. Jupiter hasn't been in view. Now on this Sunday, we have the greater benefic, the kingly planet, largest planet in the solar system, returning for us to see. Now, Jupiter can be seen in the morning in early June. Its westward elongation gradually increases until December 7th, when it is visible throughout the night. On this Sunday, the really big news is that Jupiter in mutable air Gemini makes an air trine flow to Pluto in fixed air Aquarius. Now, this aspect has not happened for hundreds of years. Jupiter in Gemini brings in the changes, the morphing, the shape-shifting, the changing season. Pluto in fixed air Aquarius is the people. It is rebellion. It is power to the people. So to say that the times are a-changin' is an understatement. If you've never listened to the song The Times Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan, please listen to that song because it is a prophecy. It is prophetic of what is to come with this Jupiter in Gemini trine Pluto in Aquarius. The moon enters her exaltation and fixed Earth Taurus ruled by Venus on this Sunday. So the desire is tremendous when we have the moon, which is an insatiable appetite in sensual sensations. Taurus, stay grounded, stay calm, stay close to Earth and nature. Monday, June 3rd, we have Mercury entering its castle. Mercury goes home to the sign of Gemini, where it functions at its clear, objective best. Mercury at home has everything that it needs to do the job accurately. And when it comes to accuracy and get the facts, get the proof, get the information, this is Mercury returning to its home sign in Gemini. Mercury, in its supreme cosmic superpower in the sign of Gemini, supports you to be more decisive, more clear, asking questions, doing the research, getting the information, signing the contract, wherever you need to be objective, analytical, and level-headed and even keel in your thinking. This is not an emotional mind. Mercury at home in Gemini. This is the job of Mercury, to see strategy and planning and get the information and the proof. The power of Mercury as we start off the week on June 3rd really helps us out because we still have the moon exalted, wanting it all in the sign of Taurus, making a square aspect to Pluto in Aquarius. Now the moon, which holds on to things in fixed Earth Taurus, I'm not going to let go, this is mine. The moon making that square to Pluto, which is saying, yes, you are. Pluto is life, death, and rebirth. This is a conflict, but also Mercury, in its domicile of Gemini, makes an air trine flow to Pluto in Aquarius after we have the moon square Pluto. The Mercury in Gemini trine Pluto is the ease, the calm, the peace of mind that says, yes, I will roll with the changes. If something doesn't or didn't work out, the Mercury trine Pluto gives us a different perspective about things. Try something differently. Look through a new lens and move forward. Life brings you lemons, make lemonade. This is what Gemini loves. Mercury in Gemini is at its best at doing this kind of thing, turning something negative into a positive because of the willingness to change when it is necessary at times. Tuesday, June 4th, what an interesting aspect we have, because we now have Mercury at home in Gemini, where it functions superbly, but the Mercury in Gemini makes a conjunction to Jupiter in Gemini, its detriment placement. So think of it this way. Have you ever watched any of those police videos where the police are called to perhaps calm down a situation, or the proprietor of a restaurant wants a bunch of people to leave that are inebriated, causing trouble? Whatever the situation, the police show up, and the person or the people that are being asked to leave or something like that, they just don't know when to stop arguing, insulting the law. And this is this combination here, because again, Mercury in Gemini It's smart, it's quick, it's clear in communication. But the Jupiter, which increases and doesn't know when to stop. Jupiter does not recognize boundaries. And in Gemini, Jupiter is in the opposite placement. Jupiter is at home in Sagittarius. So when Jupiter is in the opposite sign, it's in exile. It's the furthest away from knowing when to quit with the speaking and the mouth. This situation here on the 4th is like that show about the cops trying to calm down a situation, but the person that is in trouble or potentially in trouble just will not stop. And so their words, their mouth, their attitude, Jupiter in Gemini, keeps piling on the trouble, the charges, until what could have been a very small incident that didn't have to be a big Jupiter and Gemini over-the-top deal. It gets worse and worse for this person because they don't know when to quit. This is the Mercury at home in Gemini conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. Also, this aspect is obviously if someone is telling you something, you get the facts. If someone is trying to sell you a bill of goods, because this Jupiter in Gemini can be a great promoter, a great talker, as far as like the used car salesman that is selling you a lemon. Get the facts, get the information, but for your own personal astrology chart and in your life, look alive with this aspect on Tuesday, June 4th. Now, also on this day, we have the Sun conjunct Venus. So this is a Venus Gemini Starpoint reset. The Venus conjunct the Sun Starpoint in Gemini. It's very important for you to know where this is exactly taking place in your personal astrology chart. Venus, the Queen of Heaven, is lit up with the light and power, the soul's expression of the Sun in Gemini. Gemini, the twins, is the duality, the restlessness, the constant seeking for completion, to find that other part of themselves that makes them whole, so that the purpose and mission of why they are here can be accomplished and fulfilled. The two united as one flame is unstoppable. So what does all of that mean in simpler terms? It means that when you find the parts of yourself that you have been separated from and become united as one within yourself, the mission impossible becomes mission complete. Wednesday, Mercury's Day, June 5th, we have the moon entering Gemini, and this is the dark balsamic moon phase. We're right before the new moon in Gemini, and the moon in Gemini makes an air trine flow to Pluto in Aquarius. Then the moon in Gemini makes a conjunction to Jupiter and Mercury in Gemini. These aspects during the dark balsamic inner contemplative phase of the moon is more than conversation and thinking. It's a meditation. All of these Gemini aspects and placements right before the new moon in Gemini is not about forcing anything, not having to win the argument. It's an awareness and a thinking that goes beyond the everyday mundane mind. It's a higher level of awareness and thinking and consciousness. To just let things be is easier said than done at times, but this is one of those times and days and aspects to just let it be. This astrology on this day is about turning off all of the outside noise. You're in Plato's cave now, watching shadow projections projected onto the wall in front of you. You know it's all an illusion. It's darkness. It isn't real. And you stop giving those projections, those illusions, power over you. And what all of the Gemini placements and aspects rule over in astrology, your mind. Thursday, June 6th, we have the new moon at 16 degrees Gemini. Now, 16 degrees Gemini is the second division, the second decanate of Gemini, which brings in a Libra component influence. And what is Libra at its best? Fair, balanced, even keel, the mind at peace, you being at peace, because when you are at peace in your own mind, then you are at peace. The new moon on this day, we have the moon in Gemini making a conjunction to Venus that goes with Libra, which is peace. This is the peace inside, the peace of your emotions and your thinking. The moon in Gemini makes a square aspect to Saturn in Pisces. Now, a square aspect is about taking action. The new moon in Gemini making that square to Saturn is the action taken to stop the illusions, the lies, the murkiness. Saturn in Pisces, anything that procrastinates, that avoids, that is addictive in such a way that it blocks you from seeing the truth. The Saturn in Pisces is symbolic of Plato's cave. It's all an illusion, a projection, the shadows on the wall that aren't even real. These tortures and torments exist nowhere other than in your own mind. Friday, June 7th, Venus's day. We are now right after the new moon in Gemini, and the new moon quadrant is the time to take action. We've done the preparation, we've had the new moon, and now with the moon in her castle at home in the sign of Cancer, which is pregnancy, making new life, creating babies. This action on Friday the 7th is, what are the creations? What is your baby, so to speak, with what it is that you want to create? So indulging in this process of pregnancy and creation, new life coming forth and growing. This is how we have the weekend starting off on Venus, which is Love Day. Venus, what is it that you love? What is in art for you? Venus rules over art. And the moon in Cancer is being full, pregnant, fertile with what you want to create, because that's what you were born to do. You are here to create and make new life. That creative process where you're not concerned about deadlines and making deals and how will the creation turn out. It's just the happiness that comes from knowing that you're on purpose and doing what you are here to do. Saturday, June 8th, what a week. What a life-changing, mind-changing week. I love this week so much. And as we close out the week on Saturday, June 8th, we still have the moon at home in Cancer, making a water trine flow to Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is the work. Saturn is the structure, putting down the foundation of this new life, this new creation that you are in the process of making. We've got another major change. We have Mars moving into his detriment in the sign of Taurus. So Mars is at home in Scorpio. The opposite sign, Taurus, is when Mars goes into what's called its detriment, the opposite sign. So when Mars enters the domain or the home of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, all about the beauty and the peace, Mars is the furthest away from where it's comfortable. Now this aspect here, Mars in its detriment in Taurus, is not about keeping the peace. It's about upsetting the peace. So with this major change, Mars has left its domicile in Aries. This is making it more of a point to keep the peace no matter what, to the best of your ability. Mars in its detriment in Taurus. Taurus ruled by Venus doesn't want to fight. It doesn't like conflict. I've watched Taurus in situations have so much patience that I wonder, only a Taurus can have patience like that. They would rather keep the peace. So the lesson to be learned with Mars in its detriment in the sign of Taurus is get a little Taurus into your life. Do what you can. Go out in nature. Go to a yoga class. Breathe. Whatever it takes with Mars in Taurus to stay in your inner peace and clarity of mind, which is what this week has been very much about. And now when you see a disturbance of the peace or someone trying to upset your peace and hook you into a conflicting situation, do what a Taurus would do at their best. They'll just walk away, go out into nature, and just want to be left alone in peace. I know that what I say in the podcasts are much easier said than done a lot of the times. This is why we want to know the astrology and the patterns. It helps us tap into our own cosmic superpower so that when we are in a situation or a potential situation, we can be reminded by simply looking at the night sky, which is the better way, the better choice to make when everything around us can seem swirling and chaotic and it's easy to get caught up in things. This is one of the great benefits and awarenesses of astrology as far as looking at what the seasons, the time is, when to make a move, when not to make a move, and everything else that applies to life. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous week. I will see you all in the stars. Thank you.